Hello, and today I'm going to answer the question, why is sugar bad for you? Okay, the first thing to say is I don't think sugar is bad or good. It's an inanimate foodstuff. And when we say, oh, it's bad for you, it's really the same kind of thinking that used to lead me to when I'd stand in the supermarket and think, I can't resist that food, I've got to have it. And it was as if it had some kind of mystical power over me. And what I've come to realise through giving up sugar is that that's a choice, okay? And you may not be making choices that are good for you, but at least if you can recognise that you have made a choice rather than being out of control, you have then got a choice to change. It may sound like a small thing, but it's really important. That said, excessive sugar consumption does have consequences and they're not very nice. So I'm going to explain about them in very simple terms. Now, sugar contains glucose and fructose, and they each have their own problems. Glucose I'll talk about first. Glucose causes what you probably know of as a blood sugar crash. So this happens when you eat something very refined or something very sugary and you get a lot of glucose released into the bloodstream. So you've got a very high level of blood sugar, and I want you to imagine it's like a river that has flooded. But what happens in real life, if you have a river that's flooded, people would build flood defense systems which basically just make it move on down. In your body, that won't work, because what happens when you get high blood sugar, you need the hormone insulin to come and deal with it. Okay, so instead of having a flood defense system, what you're going to have is, imagine pipes that are put into the river and all of the flood water is pumped out. But it does too good a job and the river is basically bled dry. So then you have a situation where you are really hungry, you want some more energy, so it's an easy thing to go for a sugar hit. And so you repeat the process again, you basically flood your bloodstream with glucose and it all happens again. Now, if you do this enough times, the same sort of tolerance towards insulin happens that drug addicts find. So one hit used to be enough for them, and now they need more and more of the drug to have the same effect. And this is what happens in the body if you have too much of this processed sugar, is that you need more and more insulin to do the same job that it used to do when your body wasn't being overworked dealing with the blood sugar. And this state is called insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is very bad news. It has been linked to type 2 diabetes, you probably know that, obesity, but also things that when I found out I was quite shocked about. So things like depression, dementia, heart disease and even cancer. Okay, so the other component of sugar is fructose. Now, glucose, we've talked about when you just have too much glucose, but glucose is actually the energy of life. All cells in your body need glucose. It's not so with fructose, okay? Fructose is a toxin, and I have this on authority of Professor Robert Lustig, who works with obese children. And what he has said is that basically fructose is like alcohol without getting drunk, because the only organ in the body that can metabolize fructose is the liver. And so it has a lot of the same effects. He describes how 8 of the consequences of excessive alcohol consumption are actually shared with excessive fructose consumption. So we're talking about things like hypertension, an inflamed pancreas, liver dysfunction, and even heart attack. Okay, so studies have also shown that fructose can lead to insulin resistance. So it's another way to insulin resistance and an increased risk of cancer. The other thing that too much insulin does is it makes you hungry, so you're going to be eating more, and I think that's probably why it leads to obesity. So there you have it. That's in a very simple explanation of not why sugar is bad for you, but why you need to think about how you are using the sugar that is around us in abundance. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.